spread. William.
That's the wrong feed. Good evening to everybody trying to watch the Wolves U21s against West Ham on Wolves TV tonight. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties with the feed of the match from the West Ham United training ground. We are working to fix this problem as soon as we can. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties with the feed from West Ham. We are working to try and rectify this as soon as possible. Please stay with us on Wolves TV. A very good evening to everybody watching on Wolves TV tonight. As you can see, we've managed to get a feed working from our colleagues at West Ham. I can tell you that it is 0-0 as things stand, though Wolves have lost Alfie Pond to injury. Cam Candola is on in his place. Wolves have made 5 changes to the starting lineup from the team that won so comprehensively against Leicester last time out. Ollie Tipton is amongst those into the starting lineup. Matthias Sharkic, Jesse Mosquera, Joe Hodge, Conor Ronan, and Chem Campbell are the players who will be with the first team this week. Andreas Sondergaard's coming in goal. Ollie Tipton into the back line. Temple Ojinaka, who will be a new name to many, is a Italian-born midfielder, defensive midfielder, also able to represent Nigeria. He's had an interesting journey. Talk more about him later on. Jack Hodnett and Aaron Quito Diawa also into the side tonight. So West Ham United against Wolves. As you can see, we are relying on the graphics from our hosts, and they've been unable to send us a feed without their commentary on it. So I'm afraid you are stuck with just the voice of me, but I will try and keep you up to date with everything that is going on at the Rush Green Training Complex. It's Harrison Ashby ready to take the throw. This will be intercepted by Griffiths, who's been in good goal scoring form so far this season. And he got himself a place on the substitutes bench with the first team at the weekend. He and Nathan Fraser. And they'll both hope there's a chance they could still be involved on Wednesday. Wait to see how long they play tonight. It's not beyond the realms that they feature this evening and then be on the substitutes bench again for the first team. A number of these West Ham players featured in the Europa Conference League. Man who just played the ball there, Divin Mubama, started that game against FCSB, side formerly known as Steaua Bucharest of Romania. Griffiths couldn't get it back from Fraser, but Fraser recovers the ball. Now with Lembakisa. Closed down by Kamari Swire. It's Cam Candola on for Alfie Pond, who went down a couple of times in the opening couple of minutes. Difficult ball forwards looking for Harkin. Mubama trying to take it forwards. Ends up losing the opportunity. Ball had gone out of play. Here's Candola. Back to Sondergaard. It's closed down sharply then. Griffiths and then Ojinaka tidying things up. A little bit loose from Tipton. A little bit sloppy from Wolves. West Ham trying to capitalise. This is Greenwich. And gets it back. Trying to switch the play out towards Scarles. West Ham trying to be patient. Wolves in pretty good shape at the moment. All bar Fraser behind the ball. The slip from Greenwich will allow. Managed to keep it in. It's good work actually by Harrison Ashby. West Ham's turn to be a little bit sloppy. Oh, that's a clear pull back, you would think, by Candola. And he's going to get a yellow card. He's got himself in a bit of trouble. He's not been on that long. Maybe not fully switched on as he would need to be. That was the long ball forwards, and Candola just got himself the wrong side, and Obama able to turn him. Too high ball, looking for Greenwich again. Griffiths for Tipton. And now Birtwistle. Again, it's just a little bit sloppy. Not really been able to get themselves playing in the manner that they want to. Long ball over the top. Sundergaard will come to the edge of the penalty area. Hugely experienced at this level of football. Andreas Sundergaard. Griffiths. Good powerful run. Quito Diawa closing in. Now Griffiths. Hodnett finding Tipton. Out to Birtwistle. Harkin coming short. And his route through blocked off. Ball has stayed in for Tipton. Ojaneka for Tipton, and now Candola. Griffiths on the turn. Sundergaard finding Temple Ojaneka. Hodnett. Early up towards Harkin. Fraser through the middle. This is Birtwistle. Can he find space to get the cross in? Just about dug it out. Bit of a deflection on it. Will be a Wolves corner. So there hasn't been a huge amount of chances in the game so far. Hopefully, Wolves can make a bit of a difference here. Plenty of bodies forwards. It's taken short. And Quito Diawa's effort. The tame one in the end. Easy save for Christian Hedgie. This is Greenwich. Under pressure from Fraser. Ball in behind. Ashby giving chase. Low one in, and it's in. Turn home. Kamari Swire found himself the space. Suddenly, the Wolves' defensive line was breached. And it was a very simple finish in the end. High ball over the top, and you could see Ashby got away from Quito Diawa, and he had time to look up and pick out the run. A little bit of fortune. That's why I couldn't get it fully on target, but enough on the inside of the post to help it over the line. The first real opportunity that West Ham have crafted in the game. And they find themselves in front. Levi Lang for Greenwich. Wide for Harrison Ashby. Blocked off by Quito Diawa, who is more regularly a full-back or wing-back as Wolves have played so often in the past. Utilised a bit further forwards with Chem Campbell not being available for tonight. Over the top of Birtwistle. Tipton plays it in and out of play. West Ham have had a really torrid start to the Premier League 2 season. They haven't won a game yet in Division 1. They've got themselves in front here and something to potentially defend, though this is a Wolves team shorn of many of the players that may well have featured call-ups to the first team. See a fair old breeze going on. Some fireworks in the background. Opportunity, perhaps another one. Ashby to try and drive it. Big old deflection on it. Wolves finding it hard with quite a stiff breeze coming back towards them at the moment. Plenty of players back for the in-swinging delivery. Too high and will bounce harmlessly through. Nice flick by Fraser. Oh, and a loose touch by Aaron Quito Diawa. And again, Wolves just being a bit untidy in a lot of their play so far. Haven't really settled down into any kind of rhythm. Certainly nothing like we saw in the victory over Leicester last time out. 5 changes, remember, 5 very understandable changes, with a majority or all of those players dropping down from first team involvement. And then you can add the fact that Griffiths and Fraser on the bench for the first team of the weekend in affecting the build-up towards this one. Difficult for Ian Sharps and his staff. But this was ball forwards. Kito Diyawa did well to get there first. It's to his feet as Griffiths will find Dexter Lembakisa. Now Griffiths again. Kito Diyawa, Griffiths. Fraser was an option in towards the feet. Hodnett will find Ojinaka. Birtwhistle's delivery in. Comes out as far as Griffiths. Couldn't hang on to the ball though. And Fraser thought he was going to get an opportunity, but the referee saw something he didn't like in the challenge of Harvey Griffiths on Keenan Appiah Forson. Well, he may well have already lost the ball by the time Harvey Griffiths made the challenge. Birtwhistle's clearance forwards. Harkin will get the free kick. Nice bit of skills from the Northern Irishman. Well, if they are going to find a way back into this, the under-21s really need to settle, find some control with possession. Haven't really been able to get deep into the West Ham half often enough. Scarl's ball in, easy for Sundergaard to deal with. Birtwhistle back to Tipton. Tipton's ball forwards, looking towards Fraser. Managed to run one under the ball. Powerful header by Caelan Casey. Harkin for Birtwhistle. Looking for Harkin again. Up against Casey. It's not a bad delivery in and turned into his own net. Wolves back on level terms. A massive touch of fortune about it. Well, they haven't looked too much like scoring. West Ham have helped them out. A rare attack. Wonderful ball in by Harkin. Really good work down the right-hand side. When you put in that kind of delivery, causes defensive issues, and Harrison Ashby maybe feeling that Kito Diawa was closer to him than he actually was, turns it home with an actually quite accomplished finish. And that's the touch of fortune that you need sometimes in games. Hasn't been a great deal in this one, and Wolves have been frustrated to have gone behind. But now have got themselves something back into the match. Sondergaard to launch it downfield. So if you joined us late, we had some technical difficulties from our connection from our hosts at West Ham TV, who've managed to finally provide us with a feed of the pitches, but without sound at the moment. That's Nathan Fraser down and requiring a bit of treatment. An opportunity for quite a few players to go over and get a drink. Wolves lost Alfie Pond to injury in the opening quarter of an hour of the game. I'll hope it's not too serious. As David Moyes watches on. Usually get quite a few staff around. We were there last season. Declan Rice and Mark Noble were amongst those watching on. Say this West Ham team who have lost every game bar two this season. They drew with Blackburn away. They drew with Manchester United away. They've been beaten by Arsenal 3-2 at home, Everton 2-1, Crystal Palace and Chelsea in London derbies, both 1-0. And last time out at home, they were beaten 3-0 by Liverpool. That was Harkin's delivery in. It's hard to think exactly what Ashby was trying to do there. Ian Sharps in charge whilst James Collins is helping out with Steve Davis with the first team. Darren Ryan assisting him. Hodnett losing out and got a sore one for his troubles as well. Divin Mubama. This is Levi Lang. Appiah Forson. Greenidge back in field to Lang. On the turn. Ashby. That'll be intercepted by Lembakisa. Ashby. Earthy and across came Candola with a challenge. A good clearance from him as well. Fraser's header's going to drop to Freddie Potts. Now Caelan Casey. Under pressure from Harkin. but Whistle went to put pressure on and forced a rather loose ball forwards that Sundergaard can get. There's Sundergaard. Fraser couldn't quite get the header down into the path of Hodnett. There's been really strong breeze tonight. Fraser trying to put some more pressure as Levi Lang gets across, but Fraser's done really well. Harkin. For Sundergaard to try and launch the ball downfield. Swire, West Ham goal scorer. Happier Forson. Gets it again. Now back to Greenidge. Lang for Casey. Candola. Wolves doing really well to play their way out of danger. Fraser looked like he was being held. Didn't complain too much. Earthy. Happier Forson. Potts. To Keenan Happier Forson. He's continued on his run again. Tipton is there with him, but Whistle back there too. And in the end, Cam Candola can clear. Casey, Happier Forson. Casey carried on his run. There was a bit of a risky sliding challenge that came in. Happier Forson's ball. Casey kept going. Tipton slid in, and there was a touch off the hand. You could see the appeals. Referee interested in nothing more than a West Ham set-piece corner. Launched towards the far post and over the top of everybody. Griffiths. And Quito Diawara down the line, asking way too much of Dexter Lembakisa, even if the ball hadn't gone out of play. Not too much longer to play, you would feel, though there has been a couple of injuries, so it's understandable that there's a couple of more minutes to be played at the end of this first period. As Griffiths steps in. Now Fraser. He was looking for Harkin on the outside of him, just Slowed the attack a little bit there, Nathan Fraser. Wolves a little bit undecided as to the best way to try and force their way through as Tempolo Janaka was clashing into Divan Mabama. This is Ashby. It's quite bizarre. Own goal. Cancelling out the strike that he helped set up for that man. Kamari Swire. Now Will Greenidge. Appiah Forson. Now for Casey. Appiah Forson. Getting away from Hodnett. Ashby again. He's managed to find a way in behind Kito Diyawa, who recovered just enough. Thankfully, the ball back to Ashby wasn't as good as it needed to be. He's had a bit of a torrid time, Aaron Kito Diyawa, in a quite unusual position, but as a fullback, you would have thought he'd been able to turn in that situation. You can see how stiff the breeze is on that corner flag. An in-swinging delivery here could cause Andreas Sondergaard a few issues. Oliver Scarles, 16-year-old. High hanging delivery, and West Ham went up a bit too early there. Thankfully, no danger from Wolves' point of view. Sondergaard's ball forwards. Potts playing it forwards, but whistle across. Ojanaka winning it back. Is there time for one last attack? The end of the first period? No, it's Hodnett's ball in field. So Wolves on level terms at half-time. Behind to a strike from Swire after 28 minutes, but a Harrison Ashby own goal after good work by Lee Harkin down the right-hand side means it's West Ham 1, Wolves 1 at half-time in Premier League 2. So, welcome back to our coverage of tonight's Premier League 2 Division 1 action between West Ham and Wolves under-21s. Wolves got back on level terms thanks to a fortuitous own goal. They'll be hoping for much more in the second period. There were 5 changes to the starting lineup tonight from the side that started the last victory over Leicester with Matthias Sharkic, Jesse Mosquera, Connor Ronan, Joe Hodge and Chem Campbell, all likely or hopefully involved for the first team against Leeds on Wednesday. Nathan Fraser and Harvey Griffiths amongst those hoping to impress tonight to earn places on the bench again. Interesting to see just how long those two players play tonight, whether they're allowed to play the full 90 or whether they are removed at some point in this second period. So Wolves a bit late returning, or the dressing rooms are away to the left of your picture. Home team have a bit further to come. So here we are, back underway. So no changes from either side at the break. West Ham with Hedgie in goal, Greenidge, Lang and Casey a back three. This is Lang forwards. Freddie Potts on the ball in midfield alongside Keenan Appiah, Forson, Harrison Ashby and Oliver Scarles, the wing backs. George Earthy and Kamari Swire supporting Divin Mabama up top. Wolves with Andreas Sondergaard in goal, Harry Birtwistle, Cam Candola, Ollie Tipton and Dexter Lemba-Kisa. Lost Alfie Pond to injury in that first period. Tempolo Janaka, Harvey Griffiths and Jack Hodney in midfield. Lee Harkin and Aaron Quito Diyawa supporting Nathan Fraser up top. This is Birtwistle. Harkin making the movement. Ojanaka down the line. So further towards Fraser. Big frame of Tempolo Ojanaka. It's only 17. It'll be 18 until March. He's not had too many opportunities with the under-21s so far, Tempolo Janaka, but he's been a big part of the under-18s in the last couple of seasons. This is Scarles. Cross came Tipton. Earthy able to turn in field. Potts. Earthy. Swire comes through to Greenidge. Powerful run and into the side netting. The central defender a long way forwards and allowed to drift his way into the Wolves penalty area. And a touch of fortune that he wasn't able to find the back of the net. Tipton did well in the end, just forced him wide enough. Casey back to the goalkeeper. Harkin applying the pressure. Birtwistle for Tipton. Now Candola. Sondergaard. So many of these players were key parts of the under-18s team that made it to the FA Youth Cup semi-final last season, only beaten by Manchester United at Old Trafford. Garnacho got a goal in that game, now in the Manchester United first team. Earthy. Wide to Scarles. It was Lembakisa's header away. It'll be put back into a dangerous area, and Sondergaard got a touch to it. Comes through to Skarls. Again lifted in and away by Lembakisa. And Hodnik completing the clearance, but he will come back again. And a bit of pressure building on the under-21s at the moment. Potts. Now, Appiah Forson got his shot away, but defence did enough to get a block on it. But we're sort of Tipton and now to Candola. Wolves happy enough to play their way out from defensive positions again. A key part of what's become the Wolves' way through the different academy age groups. Potts turning and finding Ashby. Greenwich forwards. Candola intercepting. Ojineka for Harkin. West Ham had plenty of bodies back there into their defensive shape, but Griffiths finding Hodnett. Just trying to get it through to the runner Fraser. Got his second goal of the season last week against Leicester. This was Appiah Forson. Good work in the end by a combination of Birtwistle and Tipton. Tipton for Lembakisa. Invited to carry it a long way forwards. Kito Diawa. Doesn't need any extra invitation to cross, and Harkin's header, and somehow it's gone the wrong side of the post. It's a brilliant ball in, and Lee Harkin, one of the smallest players on the field, but he has a happy habit of being able to pop up in spaces inside the penalty area, just trying to guide it back towards the far post. And Wolves very close to getting themselves in front. Best bit of play of the second half so far from a Wolves point of view. It's been tough going at times for Lee Harkin, but here come West Ham again. And Birtwistle is there. Hasn't scored a Premier League 2 goal yet this season, Lee Harkin. He did net against Stockport in the Football League trophy. Appiah Forson. Closed down by a combination of Hodnett and Lembakisa. Swire out to Ashby. Sondergaard came, didn't quite get there. Swire forced wider than he wanted to be, and good powerful header away by Candola. Still Fraser is down. And that's gone out of play and will be a Wolves throw. Now the officials will just go and check on Nathan Fraser. Wasn't a bad ball put in there. Sondergaard did just enough under real pressure from Divin Mabama. Credit Lembakisa for forcing Swire wider than he wanted to be. Well, there's our answer about Harvey Griffiths. Dylan Cicluna coming on into midfield. And Michael Agbula going on. And I think it's Dexter Lembakisa who has been replaced by Michael Agbula. It's good to see Michael Agbola back, by the way, having had such a torrid time with injuries. And that's not a sight that many people would want to see. There are not many fit out-and-out centre forwards at the club at the moment. Well, this who will be available for the first team. Nathan Fraser, you can see the frustration in him there. He had a bit of an issue at the end of the first half. Whether that is a continuation of it. With Agbula coming on and Lembakisa going off, you wonder whether Wolves have gone to a back five here with Tipton, Candola and Agbula, knowing that Kito Diawa and Birtwistle can just play as wing-backs. And then Ojinaka could hold with Hodnett and Cicluna a little bit further ahead of them. Harkin and Fraser perhaps as more of a front two. Now they'll wait and see how Fraser is here. Do have Owen Farmer on the bench. You see Owen Farmer is stripped and ready there. Going back towards the bench. And not about to come on just yet. A little bit of confusion. Here come West Ham though. Through Potts. Away by Birtwistle. Fraser is back on the field, though you can see he's not moving well at all. Harkin just being told to calm things down. A little bit over keen to try and win the ball back. Harrison Ashby taking a tumble from Harkin's challenge. He takes no prisoners. Don't let his size fool you. He's a tenacious character, Lee Harkin. He's done really well in the last 18 months for the under-23s, now the under-21s. In swinging delivery, Sondergaard came, got something on it. Appiah Forson. Well, charged down in the end. Cicluna. I don't know where he was going with it. Sondergaard behind the effort. It does look like Agbula is playing in the centre of defensive three there. It's it back from Tipton. Sondergaard under pressure from Mabama. Fraser still on. This was Cicluna. First couple of touches. Lost his radar a little bit. I don't think he quite knew where he was on the field. And it looks like this change is going to be made now. Owen Farmer, 18 years of age these days. Not on the field just yet. As Fraser continues to battle on. Here's Christian Hedgie. Hodnett. Ojinaka. It's it back from Kito Diawa. That'll be a West Ham ball. And eventually, Wolves will make this change, which might have further repercussions and implications for who would be on the bench on Wednesday. That's the last change that Wolves will be able to make tonight. You can name 5 subs, you can put all 5 on, but only in the 3 spells of substitutions that are allowed. So there'll be no Luke Matheson as far as we understand it. I mean, Farmer's been a good goal scorer for the under-18s for a couple of seasons now. He's only had a bit part involved in the under-21s. He has been developing physically over the last few months, noticeably bigger than in his previous opportunities at this highest level of development football. Appiah Forson's ball, brought down by Kito Diawa. Hodnett to Harkin. That was a crunching challenge in that Harkin did well, drew the foul. Ashby, the guilty man. Taken quickly. Kito Diawa. And again. Up against Swire. And Kamari Swire did well. Burtwhistle's header. Tipton's ball forwards. And Farmer, unfortunate to be penalised there. So 1-1 past the hour mark. Lee Harkin's header, the best of the opportunities for either side in this second period. Appiah Forson backwards. Opportunity to switch the play. This is Scarles. Support coming from Casey. Now Potts. And again, Freddie Potts just barged into by Cicluna. Referee happy for it to continue. Ashby's delivery in and seen Harmacy through to Scarles. Danger not fully over just yet. This is Earthy. And he takes a tumble under the challenge of Cicluna. He's had a bit of a journey as well, Dylan Cicluna. He's been around the football club for a long time, but not always available, not always there. Family split between Australia and Malta. There's no doubt there's a huge talent. The real test for him now is to try and convert the promise that he's shown at the younger age groups into under-21s football. Does have a younger brother in the academy setup as well. Casey's header away. Tipton. Called out of play and back in. Scarles with a throw. Interception by Cicluna and Tipton back to Sondergaard. Looking for Quito Diawa. It'll be a West Ham throw. Hodnett applying the pressure on Appiah Forson. That'll be a Wolves throw. Good midfield work from Jack Hodnett. Bow whistle for Harkin. Nice little first time flick from Harkin. Bow whistle couldn't wrap his foot round the ball to get a cross in towards Farmer and Hodnett, who'd made the runs in at the far post. Last time these two met was in the Premier League Cup last season. Played out a 0-0 draw at the Rush Green Training Complex where they're playing tonight. It was just before Christmas. Wolves weren't in a great run of form at the time, actually, but they did well against a West Ham team who were top of Premier League 2, Division 1 at the time. Arguably the best under-23 side in the country when they met. Half the team had just featured in the Europa League. Getting a yellow just for kicking the ball away, it seems. Foolish for Michael Agbula. That'll be a Wolves throw as Ashby couldn't quite get there. Tipson's ball forwards. Harkin. Can't keep it in. Still chasing. Good pressure from Lee Harkin. Forces West Ham a long way back. Hedgie. And here's loose ball. All from that pressure from Harkin, really. Hurrying West Ham and forcing a mistake from the goalkeeper as well. They went from conceding a throw midway inside their own half to earning one in a similar position in the West Ham half. Bit too straight a ball that for Farmer to run onto. Up towards Earthy. Scarles. Ojinaka with a foot in. Appiah Forson, leaving it for Freddie Potts. Not a bad ball in behind, just missed it was Earthy. Agbula was there with him. It was a moment of concern. Sondergaard to lift it forwards. Farmer's header went to Ashby. Potts on the turn. Interception by Quito Diawa. Tipton closed down by Scarles. Managed to get it away off the West Ham defender. Tipton just stretching out there a little bit. That'll be another slight worry. having lost Alfie Pond to injury early in the game, as Wolves continue to play their way out from deep, even when it feels risky to do so. Just over 20 minutes to go. Is somebody going to be able to create a moment of magic to win this game? Wolves have had a lot more possession, a lot more control than they did for much of the first period. Scicluna. Now Ojinaka. Burwhistle. Tipton. Scicluna. Patient, this from Wolves. Trying to find an opportunity. Trying to drag West Ham out of position. Scicluna's flick. Candola will get another opportunity to play it forwards. Hodnet. Agbula for Tipton. Back to Agbula. Scicluna sold that pass a bit short. Looking for Jack Hodnet. Long ball forwards. It's going to hang up in the wind. Now Earthy. Really important challenge from Agbula. Seen a big moment of danger, but Agbula used that extra bit of experience just to get a toe in. Talked about the wind in the first half. You can see West Ham actually using it to their advantage there. Just a long straight ball, really, that you could see held up by the breeze. And all of a sudden, Divan Mabama was able to get onto the end of it comfortably. Earthy for Potts. Happier Forson for Scarles. Earthy laying it through, and really good goalkeeping by Andreas Sondergaard as Divan Mabama looked to get on the end of the through ball. Burwhistle. Tipton. Just a few signs in the last couple of minutes. West Ham have started to have a bit of joy breaking through the defensive line of Wolves. Happier Forson will be penalised for that challenge on Tempolo Gineka. Agbula for Tipton. Hodnet's offering short. Ojinaka back to Tipton. Now Agbula. Just a little bit loose. Otherwise, quite nice play from Wolves, but they didn't really get close enough to goal as Farmer goes to put some pressure on. Potts with the long ball, away by Candola. Cicluna for Hodnett. And caught in possession, and he will get the free kick, though. Freddie Potts' challenge. And there's another bit of concern. Tempolo Janeka is now down. Also lost to Alfie Pond and Nathan Fraser to what looked like muscle injuries. And they'll hope they're not losing Tempolo Janeka now. A quarter of an hour to play. Next up is game against Reading on Friday night. Premier League Cup, it's Friday afternoon. Is that game. In comes Sunderland in the Premier League Cup. Premier League International Cup, some big games coming up at Molineux. Porto, the visitors, later on this month. And then Valencia will come at the start of December. Sandwiched in between is a trip to Rugby Town in the Birmingham Senior Cup. Wolves also taking on Wolfsburg in the Premier League International Cup as well, all before Christmas. And these players will take a break, as they often do over the festive period. They'll start again in early January with a home game against Blackburn. Hodnett and Tipton stood over the ball. Hodnett's ball in. Awkward for the goalkeeper to deal with Agbula trying to get on the end of things. Good pressure being applied by Owen Farmer. Ojaneka is back on. Here come West Ham, though. Mabama, comfortable save for Sundergaard in the end. This was Hodnett's delivery in. Just a bit too much curl on the ball, otherwise Agbula was the most likely to get on the end of it. And then at the other end, West Ham threatening. Not enough power behind Divin Mabama's shot. Still feels like there's something in this. Conditions are not great at the Rush Green training ground. There'll be some tired legs for some of those Wolves players. Some won't have seen a huge amount of football in the last couple of weeks. That's a foul on Cam Candola. Others will have played a lot more football than they anticipated, with some of the players being involved and training every day with the first team group. Greenwich trying to get Ashby forward. Big hoik into the air, brought down by Scarles. Now support for Murphy. Scarles again. Not a bad delivery in, and again Wolves did enough. Danger not over. Ashby back into there, and a block from Potts' effort, and the referee has spotted a hand in there, and it's a West Ham penalty. Ollie Tipton protesting his innocence, saying the arm was close to the body. Let's have another look. Well, it hits his arm, but his arm is tucked in. Not sure exactly what he can do there, Ollie Tipton. I'll say it was an unnatural position. There's no VAR in Premier League 2. And Divin Mabama has an opportunity from the penalty spot to restore West Ham's lead. Referee checking. Happy enough that it's on the spot. Still not quite happy with where it is. None of this will help the big striker as he tries to get his focus up against Andreas Sondergaard. Divin Mabama from the penalty spot for the Hammers. With 10 minutes to go at Rush Green. It's Mabama, and he sends Sondergaard the wrong way, and West Ham lead again. And the game swings back to the home team. Wolves have been much better in this second period, but they had the luck in the first half when an own goal got them back on level terms. Luck deserts them here. There's a rather harsh penalty. It is struck home by Divin Mabama. What do Wolves have amongst them to get back on level terms for a second time in the game? Nothing will come from that kickoff opportunity. So 8 minutes left to play, plus time to be added on. Barring that Lee Harkin effort, look how the wind has just caught that goal kick. Hasn't been too much from Wolves. It's looking like a real threat, especially with the substitutions that they've had to make. Here's Skulls. Early delivery in. Quito Diawa losing out to Swire. Ashby. Candola with a block. Just not able to keep it amongst the front two at the moment. Agbula with a clearance. There's no rush from Harrison Ashby now. It would mean a lot to West Ham here. Get their first Premier League 2 win of the season. There'll be a Wolves throw. It's worth remembering that normally this team would have the likes of Joe Hodge, Chem Campbell at times, Conor Ronan, as Agbula keeps his cool. Lost Nathan Fraser to injury. Harvey Griffiths went off in what you imagine was a pre-planned moment to keep him fresh enough if needed on Wednesday night. Oh, Agbula's lost out. Appiah Forson, big save, but there it is. Turned home by Divin Mabama. And it's the cushion that West Ham might need for their first win of the campaign. Wolves trying to play their way out of danger one too many times. Lost possession on the edge of the penalty area, and they've been punished. Tipton to Agbula. He got away from Mabama, but it was overrun a little bit, and Appiah Forson stole it from him. Really good save by Sondergaard, but it fell invitingly to Divin Mabama for his second of the game. And you fear that may well be that. It's Levi Lang who will be going off. Regan Clayton coming on. There's Candola. Say this, Wolves Academy teams are encouraged to play out from the back. They're encouraged to take risks in certain situations. It is a learning experience. And Michael Agbula, who's had a horrendous time with injuries in the last couple of years, has learnt the hard way about overplaying in certain scenarios. There's Potts. Again, referee didn't like the challenge of Agbula. He does have to be careful. Got himself a silly yellow for kicking the ball away. Chasing to try and win possession back. Skulls. Clayton, blocked off by Birtwistle. Could have been different. Lee Harkins had a massive opportunity at 1-1. Wolves had got themselves in front. They may well have fancied themselves to see the game through. There wasn't a huge amount in it. Sondergaard didn't have too many saves to make before a rather unlucky penalty given against them when the ball hit Ollie Tipton from rather close range. Arm tucked into his body. Ojineka will be penalised there. Ojineka was trying to get Wolves moving. A crunching challenge going in again. Harrison Ashby, the player down. Well, busy week. First team against Leeds in the League Cup on Wednesday night for Molineux. Matchday Live Extra on the air from 45 minutes before kickoff. Andy Thompson and Lee Naylor will be alongside me at Molineux. Under 21s back in action on Friday afternoon in the Premier League Cup against Reading. Another game you'll see live on Wolves TV. And we'll be in control of the pitches for that one. Here's Casey. Greenidge. One in the air by Candola. Cicluna. Harkin. Wolves need bodies forwards into the penalty area. Harkin trying to force his own way through. Mabama. He's got Clayton racing up, who just had to stretch and allow Birtwistle to get back with him. Shot charged down in the end by Agbula. 5 minutes being added on. Candola loses out. Ashby taking a tumble. That's the question. It's going to be given as a goal kick. In fairness, he didn't have too many protests. Candola a little bit clumsy. He didn't feel like he made contact. And Harkins lost out. It's like Archie Woods being prepared for Freddie Potts. Can Wolves muster up a route back into the game? Tipton for Hodnett. Works it to Birtwistle. Comes through to Harkin, who had an effort, but always going to take something super special from that kind of distance. There you go, change can be made now. Freddie Potts going off. So on comes Archie Woods for the final 2.5 minutes. How the wind has caught that goal kick again. Ojinaka with a couple of headers. Cicluna. There'll be a Wolves ball. Sondergaard's long ball. Again, it looked like there was a little tug on the shirt, but Cicluna found Ojinaka. Now Tipton. Temple Ojinaka again. Candola. Cicluna. Trying to spot the run of Farmer, who has seen very little of the ball since he came on to replace the injured Nathan Fraser. But a whistle for Tipton to Agbula, but not the direction that Wolves want to be going in. Better to find Hodnett. And a loose extra touch. Hodnett trying to win it back. Appiah Forson getting hold of possession. Last few seconds. West Ham will just control it now, although inexplicably it's giving it away to Harkin. Harkin charging forwards. Now Farmer. One last opportunity maybe for Farmer. Good save from Christian Hedgie. Low down to his right-hand side. There is no final sting in the tail as far as Wolves are concerned. And that's it. A defeat at the Rush Green training ground. West Ham's first win of the season. Wolves without some key players that were so impressive in their win over Leicester last time out. Against a West Ham side who've seen a number of players promoted up to the first team and involved in Europa Conference games so far this season. They were always likely to come good, the Hammers, having finished second last campaign. A talented group of players. Wolves with a couple of injury issues as well. Losing Alfie Pond early in the game was a key blow. Nathan Fraser picking up a knock as well and removing the likes of Dexter Lembakisa and Harvey Griffiths, who may well have one eye on being involved for the first team on Wednesday night. So not the night that Ian Sharps would have wanted for his young group of players. This was the first opportunity and the first goal turned home by Kamari Swire. Wolves got themselves back into it. Good work down the right-hand side by Lee Harkin. Forced a glaring mistake from Harrison Ashby. Under no pressure at all, turned it into his own goal. Well, this was the debatable penalty. Ball bounces up, hits the arm of Ollie Tipton from close range, and Divin Mabama sent Andreas Sondergaard the wrong way. And then Wolves overplaying defensively, allowing Mabama an opportunity eventually after Appiah Forson won the ball back here for Magbula to slot home the third for West Ham. West Ham 3, Wolves 1. Thanks for your company as ever.